So you want to be like Netflix and develop Java on FreeBSD? Here is how to set up your development environment. Make sure that you configure FreeBSD to mount procfs on boot. To check your current configuration, run cat etc fstab and then check for this line here. If it isn't shown in the output, then use the editor of your choice to append it to etc fstab. If you are new to FreeBSD, you should know that the system comes out of the box with EE, which stands for Easy Editor, and as the name suggests, it's the easiest, most beginner-friendly way to edit files. For demonstration purposes, that's what I'm going to do here. Once you've made the changes to etc fstab, reboot. Of course, if you're new or need help with setting up the base system, make sure to read through the official handbook or join the Discord server linked in the description below. If you need more help setting up a Java project, which is independent of the platform you're programming on, I will also have a link to a useful website and a Discord server in the description. Now, we need to install the Java SDK software development kit and the JVM, the Java virtual machine. I'll use version 25, the latest version is 26, but that came out a couple of months ago and it's a little bit bleeding edge. So I'll err on the safe side and go for 25. That will give us nearly all of the modern and exciting features of Java without the headache of potential versioning issues. As root, run the command pkg install openjdk25. Confirm that you want to install the package. You will probably see that the message is shown that OpenJDK wants procfs to be mounted. Don't worry, that's exactly what we did in step 1. For Java development, we are also going to need a build tool, so let's install Maven and Gradle. FreeBSD provides multiple versions of Maven for us to choose from. We can see our candidates by running pkg search Maven. I will go for the latest available at the time of recording this video, which is Maven 3.9. I can install it by running pkg install Maven 39 as root. If you prefer Gradle, you can again browse the available versions of Gradle using pkg search Gradle. I'm opting for the latest version and running pkg install Gradle as root. Now, this is where the tutorial forks, depending on which text editor you want to use. In this video, I will show the configuration of Visual Studio Code, or rather the free version known as VSCode or Code OSS, as well as Neovim and Emacs. Use the timestamps in the description and in the playhead to jump around to the editor of your choice. I'm not going to cover IntelliJ, as that mostly does not work on FreeBSD, at least not without a lot of configuration. You should go and yell at JetBrains about it. First, let's install Code OSS. As root, run the command pkg install VSCode and confirm that you want the new packages. Once that's done, open VSCode in your desktop environment using the command code-oss. Remember, this is the demicroslopified version of VSCode, so some of their proprietary features will not be available, but thankfully for us, we are not vibe coders and we will not need any of those. To get support for Java, I'm going to add the extension pack for Java by VSC Java. The link for that extension is in the description below. This extension pack consists of 6 useful extensions for Java development, including Red Hat's language support, debugger support, Maven and Gradle support, as well as project management. That's pretty much it. Open VS Code in a directory of your choice, press Ctrl-Shift-P for the command palette, and then search for the Maven new project command, and the rest will be guided by VS Code, and you can create a new project from there. Whether you prefer Neovim or Emacs, we first need to install the Eclipse Java language server, JDT to get IntelliSense in the editor. By the way, if you're wondering why I don't just use something like Mason with Neovim, well, it doesn't work. Even though the JDT server is a Java program which runs on the Java virtual machine, whose entire point is to write once, run anywhere. So let's do the work ourselves and go to the official JDTLS repository. Click on the milestone builds and grab ourselves the latest one. Make a directory and unpack the tarball you just got using the command tar-xf and then the name of the archive. You can just type a few letters and then use tab to autocomplete the long name. If we peek into the bin directory and check out the JDTLS file, we see it's actually a Python script with a hard-coded dependency on Python 3. So we need to satisfy that requirement before we get to use JDTLS. I'm going to install Python 3.14 by running pkg install Python 3.14 as root. That installs the executable Python 3.14 on our system. The easiest way to make JDTLS use this executable is to add a symbolic link to it. Choose any directory on your path. By default, the bin directory in your home directory is included in the path. We can get the full path to Python 3.14 using the which command. Then using ln-s, create a symbolic link to Python 3.14 called Python 3. That will satisfy JDTLS. And while you're at it, you can create a symbolic link to JDTLS itself in this directory. That way you don't have to add it to the path yourself. This third step is optional, but if you're using Neovim or Emacs, you probably want to use Treesitter to get nice highlighting in your editor. Here is how to install that. First, let's install Treesitter and the command line interface. For that, as root, run pkg install Treesitter and also Treesitter CLI. Confirm you want the packages. Next, let's get the Java Treesitter source code from the official repository. If you haven't already, make sure to install Git on your FreeBSD system. Then in a directory of your choice, clone the source code. We don't need all of the commits, so to save some space, I will use --depth1. In that directory, run tree-sitter build, and that will produce a java.so dynamic library. That is your Treesitter parser. I'll show you how to use that in a second, depending on whether you use Emacs or Neovim. Now that we've installed the language server, we've done most of the hard work. I recommend using the nvim Java plugin, which will configure pretty much everything you need for you. If you're using Neovim, I'm pretty sure you already know how to add a plugin. In case you're new, all you need to do is copy-paste the snippet provided on nvim Java's GitHub into your configuration file. To enable Treesitter, add this line with the path to the java.so Treesitter library we built before. And that's it. Good luck on your journey to a 6-figure salary at Netflix. For Emacs, we can use the built-in eglot language server client to connect to JDTLS. Just run mx eglot and select JDTLS, and that's about it. To add Treesitter to Emacs, we can use the built-in treesit package. If we run mx describe variable and then input treesit extra load path, you'll see an explanation of where Emacs expects to find the Treesitter shared library we built before. So choose any of those paths and copy over java.so using the cp command. I'll opt for the Treesitter subdirectory of the Emacs user directory. Make sure to give it the name that Emacs expects, which is libtree-sitter-java.so. And that's it. Hop over to your Java project, enter the Java TS mode, enable eglot with JDTLS, and you're well on your way to becoming a 10x FANG developer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.